so far. This week, I wanted to talk to you about clarity. More specifically, why I recently turned down a six-figure opportunity. Hold your gasps, it's all okay. So, just to get right into it, a few weeks ago, I was given an opportunity for a six-figure contract. And truthfully, it was exciting. What actually happened was that within the span of 4 days, I received three interview opportunities, jobs, contracts that I didn't even realize I was going to get. I honestly, let's be real here. When I apply for jobs and contracts and things like that, to be honest, I'm kind of lazy. If there's a requirement of a cover letter, I won't even apply. So the fact that within 4 days, I got three emails, I was shook to my core because I was like, what? This is crazy. And they varied all of them in the high five to six-figure range. So when this opportunity came, one of the six-figure opportunities, before I was even offered the money, I was well aware of the amount it would be and all of that stuff. But I had decided that when the opportunity comes and the offer is given, I was going to reject it. And coming from making low five figures most of my life, or at the peak, at this actual pay would have been over three times larger than the highest amount I've ever received as a salary. So just to put it into perspective, this is not like, oh, I've been making this kind of money, so it's easy to say no. But it was still easy to say no because clarity. I don't know how else to put it. And the thing is that when I said no, the one question that I was asked before is, did you have another offer? And my answer was no. Another question was I disappointed in having to say no? And the answer to that as well was no. I was actually extremely, extremely proud of myself because the opportunity did not align. I was able to see that and not only see it, but move in the knowledge of that information. 6 months ago, you could have told me to stand upside down on my head for six figures, and your girl would have signed up for it and bought Advil with half of the salary. That's where I was. But now I was able to look at it and see the salary, know how much the expectation was, know what that money would do for me in the short term, and say, nah, we're not for it. And right now, like with the work that I'm doing, what I need to gain and the trade-offs that I would have to make in order to satisfy the obligations of that contract, I just knew it would not be worth it. I have clarity. This is something that, as I said, I haven't had for a long time. And the more I have it, the more these decisions become so easy to make, right? I know what feels right and what doesn't. And some people will not understand that. And truthfully, I am absolutely okay with that because it's not their vision. When I told people that I made that decision after the first interview, and I was like, you know what? It was an amazing interview. I killed it. I was, every time I had an interview, I'd go into my sister's room and be like, call the police because I just murdered that interview. And I was super excited about it, right? And even though it was great, I met amazing people, hopefully LinkedIn connections for the future, but I knew that it wasn't for me. And what I wanted to come on here and really tell you guys, my good friend, is that not everything that glimmers is gold. And this six-figure opportunity is not the first thing I've ever rejected. And what I've learned over time is that when you hear that voice clearly and you know where you need to be, those rejections, even if they do cause that disappointment, if it causes that condemnation from others, if there's that little tiny bit of you that's like, maybe you should have just took it for a minute, it's not worth it. And I'll just give you two more examples of some things that I turned down, which were seemingly good opportunities at the moment, but now in hindsight, I knew they weren't. So when I quit my job back in 2019, someone who I held in high regard, who was completely for me quitting my job, offered me an alternative. And when I told them that, oh, I'm quitting this job because I want to write a book, start a podcast, start my own business, they were not for that. For whatever reason, most likely ego when I come to think about it, but that's neither here or there. And it was to the point where this person was like, you should become a project manager. And I was like, oh, let me go Google what that is. Oh, it sounds cool. It's interesting, but that's not what I'm quitting my job for. And they were so persistent up to the point where they offered to pay $5,000 or whatever the sum was at the time for me to take the project management course. And quitting your job, being completely broke, having no savings, jumping off of a cliff in faith, hoping to land in purpose, and somebody offers you $5,000 to jumpstart a career that could make you six figures sounds beautiful. Like, it sounds stunning. I'm not going to lie. But I was like, no. That trade off of that money, that time, that direction was going to be completely opposite to what I wanted. And I was so sure and confident of that, that it was extremely easy for me to say no. And it was kind of even horrible because that same money that they were willing to pay for me to take that course, that person was not willing to invest it into me starting my own business, which is what we really needed the money for. But that's neither here nor there. I was able to say no to that, right? And when I told somebody about it, they were like, what? Why would you say no? You should have just taken the course. And I'm like, no. I knew what I wanted. I knew what it looked like. I knew why I quit the job and what decisions I wanted to make. And that was so clear and so obvious to me that whatever it was that course would offer me would not align with what I was doing. And I wasn't even willing to smell the course for the money. I wasn't willing to do anything to go near it. And then when I quit my job, I had written my book. I was looking for mentors. I got put in contact with this amazing professor at a very prestigious school here in Canada. Her and I were speaking, and I was telling her everything I wanted to do, and she was one of the people who said, oh, you need more of an education in order to make the money you want to make and have the impact or even get a seat at the table, which when I spoke to you guys in my previous episodes about like going deaf to what other people have to say, she was one of those people, and she's an educator. So it was to the point where she said, if you send me your transcript, I could look into seeing what full ride scholarships are available that you could apply for to do a 2 year master's in like diversity studies and things of that nature. A full ride 2 year full-time scholarship. I don't even want to know how much it was worth. But when I left that meeting, I went with someone and I told him right away, you know what, that sounded amazing, but I'm not sending her my transcript. I'm not applying for school because this does not align. And people be like, are you crazy? A full ride 2 year scholarship to a prestigious master's program at a prestigious university. Why wouldn't you? Because it doesn't align. Because my clarity was so crystal clear that I could see that doing that would be a waste of my time in that moment. You know, I'm not opposed to school. You guys should know by now that I'm a forever student, but I am opposed to school for the sake of school. There are many ways to learn outside of sitting in traditional classes, which is necessary at times, but at other times is not. And not only did she say to do a master's, but she also insinuated that I needed a PhD. So as I told you guys prior, it would have been at least 7 years of schooling to do what I'm doing right now, to have the opportunities that I'm already granted right now, to make the money that I'm making right now without having to lose the time that I would have lost trying to go on the path that somebody else justified for themselves, knowing well and good that that wasn't necessarily how it aligned for me. And a full-time program means you're not going to have time to do anything else. You're in school all day, then you're studying, then you're writing essays, then you're doing research, and you're doing work with your professors and making the most out of the situation, which means 2 whole years of my life would have gone towards that to get me to where I am right now. So I rejected them. And in that time, what I've done has been so worth the effort, so worth the sacrifice. So much so that I can do it again, which is why I'm doing it again right now with that opportunity, not even flinching, not even losing sleep, because I know what I would be trading off and what I'm going to get. And what I wanted to tell you guys, my friends, is that get used to trusting your inner voice. And the more you do, the louder it gets. The more you trust your inner voice, the louder it is going to get. I don't need a cosign. I don't need anyone to get it. I don't need anybody to pat me on the back. I don't need anyone to tell me that I'm on the right track, because history that has taught me that once it feels right, it is right. History has taught me that. Trusting myself has taught me that. Hearing that little whisper of a voice saying, do this, and then doing it and it turning out right. And then that whisper gets a little louder, or I get a little more sensitive to it, so that next time it's not going to be drowned out by the voices of others, insecurities, the devil, and anything else that wants to come. That voice and I are so in sync, so in tune, that now I can just hear things so clearly. And when I talk about history has taught me that once it feels right, it is right, that also comes along with the fact that I believe and I know that I am a sensible, aligned, and confident individual, and that my capabilities are blessed. I know what I'm doing. I know exactly where I'm going. I trust myself because I know that when I make a decision, I don't just make it on a whim. I think it through, and the process in which I think it through allows me to know that that decision that I make is sound and rooted in something so important. And the promises that my Father has made to me, the promises that our Father has made to you, those guarantee that I will not miss out on anything, right? So it was so clear to me that it was actually my pleasure to turn down that contract, knowing that better still remains. I trust the fact that no matter what I do in this life, if I continue to walk in my purpose, opportunities are gonna find me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. I can be on a plane, opportunities will find me. Be on a train, opportunities will find me. Be on LinkedIn, opportunities will find me. Be in the mall, opportunities will find me. This is what I hold on to, and this is what has rang true so much in my life, that looking at that opportunity and saying, whoa, this is the most money I've ever been offered for anything in my entire life. And being able to look at it and say, okay, it doesn't feel right. And if it doesn't feel right, I know that I'm not in this life to suffer. So I know that something way better, way more aligned, that makes so much more sense, is on its way. And clarity, what does clarity feel like? Because I'm here talking about it, something that I've developed over the years, right? Like I told you guys 6 months ago, I would have took that job so quickly. But it's in the span of 6 months, I have gotten to a place that I never even thought I could. So it is a journey, right? But the things about clarity that I think you should keep in mind and tap into is that when it's clear, you'll have peace. There's a calm that comes along with doing the right thing. Not doing the right thing in general, but doing the right thing for you, right? Like doing the good thing, the capital G, like the capital G, God, good. Like what I spoke to you guys about a few episodes back about right versus good, right? It's that exact thing. So there will be a peace about it. Other people might not have that peace, and that's what I'm talking about. It's an internal peace, because there were people who were like, what? You won't take that opportunity? It's great. The pension, the opportunities, this and that. And I'm like, nope, the trade-off of what I would have to sacrifice in order to make room for this and what I think I would gain from it does not justify that money. Because I trust and believe and I know that there's way more available. Better still remains. I have been on this path and I have seen how everything has been interconnected. So when something comes along that's an anomaly and I can't see how it connects, not only can I not see how it connects, but it also doesn't feel right, there is no way on earth that I'm going to take that decision, because there's going to be a discrepancy, there's going to be a dissonance. I'm not going to be at peace. And clarity comes with peace. Another thing that clarity comes with is that it feels right. Like, peace is one thing, but feeling like you made the right decision. But with that, the little caveat is that it might not always be easy. The right thing isn't always easy to do. Looking at what that money could do for me versus where I am right now, and making that decision, it wasn't easy in the simplest terms, but it was easy because I have faith and trust in what is on the way. So it might have not been easy, but what it was worthy. And that's what I tell you guys all the time, that this is a worthy journey. And something being worthy means it is worth the struggle, it is worth the difficulty, it is worth the sleepless nights, it is worth the stress that comes along with it, because good things require work. And work is work is work through and through, however you flip it. But the difference is that this work that you're doing, the energy that you're putting in, the time you're expending, is worthy, because you can justify the gains that will come to you should you continue on that path. And the final thing that clarity really brings is that you trust the decision you've made. You trust it because you trust yourself. And not only because you trust yourself, but also because you trust your maker, and you know that he will not lead you astray. And that trust just takes you all the way back into peace, takes you all the way back into things feeling right. So I hope that that helps you, that this little story of this big decision that I recently made puts things into perspective for you, allows you to tap into your clarity, and not even just your clarity, but tap into that little voice that you're hearing, that spirit, that whisper that's telling you to do certain things, that nagging feeling that won't stop because you're not doing what you need to do. I hope you're able to listen to it and grow it. And from that, you gain every single great, amazing, fantastic thing that is yours already. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye.